I was so withdrawn and isolated from everyone. I think I was chasing fame and status so much and thinking that made me valuable when I was like, everyone loved me. I was getting all this attention. It was like, yes, I'm finally validated. I mean something. And then you realize that the attention that they're giving you, they've got this idea of who you are, but they have no idea who you actually are. And then if you're not doing well, you're getting none of that attention. It's like this kind of roller coaster of chasing people's validation, but the validation you get is fake.
I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land on which we meet and record on, the Darug people of the Eora Nation. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present. Welcome everybody to A Colourful Past podcast. I am your host, Danny Shannon, where every story told proves that your past does not define your future. Let's go. .360, hello, brother.
Hello.
Hello, Matty.
How are you, Danny?
Very good, mate. This is a very intimate setting. How you feeling?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
I'm good, man.
You know, in recovery, we talk about boundaries, you know, having a bit of boundaries. I wanted to make sure that when we set up the studio, we had some good boundaries. Now, intimacy is something that comes up for me a lot in my journey of recovery. Because I ran from it for so long in addiction. You know, so you comfy?
Yeah, bro.
What do you think of the room?
Yeah, man, I love it. I think it's a great little setup. I'm glad we can make it work. You know?
Man.
We've been talking about doing this for a long time.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yeah, man. So glad we're finally doing it.
And I got to come to your show last night in Newcastle.
Yeah.
How'd you feel after the show?
Oh, mate, I had a ball. It was great energy last night. Yeah, just a really awesome vibe, very wholesome it felt. Some elements of like, you know, close to fights and stuff like that, but nothing too crazy.
It looked like that. I don't think that was really what was happening. Someone was really blind drunk, or in the scene I seen anyway. Someone hit the deck, hit the floor, he tripped over himself. And this is part of a tour. You're doing about 45 shows on this tour?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
How's that? This is your biggest tour ever.
Biggest tour ever for me. It's great, man. It's especially doing a lot of regional towns that don't get much live music. It's awesome, bro. They really appreciate it. Like I think when we play like Melbourne and Sydney and capital cities in general, they're so used to live music all the time. Yeah. And a lot of these places just don't get that. Yeah. So when you come out here, they're like, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's mad. Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm very excited to be here in the studio with Six, 360.
Yeah, all my boys call me Six.
Six,
so
yeah.
Six works. 60's good too.
60, yeah.
But Maddie's
good.
fine as well. Yeah.
I worked in rehabilitation for 10 years, and a lot of the people we took in were high-risk offenders from prison. And one of the things I always learned to build rapport. I used to love calling people by their names, you know, Matty Colwell, which is how I've been basically calling you since we met, you know. I think it adds a little level of
a bit of personal touch.
Yeah, a bit of a personal touch. I mean, you get it all, I guess.
Yeah, no, I can feel that vibe from you, man.
Cool, bro.
I hadn't noticed that though. Like I hadn't actually consciously been aware of that.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, oh yeah. Interesting.
It's respectful, and it also just I don't know. I think a lot of those guys coming from custody might be called just by their last name or a number, you know. So I think, but it's one thing that I've learned in recovery, just to try and build relationships. You know?
And it also shows that you remember their name too.
It does.
Not just talking to them.
Buddy, look. During this interview, I don't want to do this too much, but I've been stalking you basically, bro, for the last couple of months, listening to all your podcasts. I've learned so much about you, and I have so many similarities to you. You know, there's so much about your story, from some of the finest details that hopefully I'll remember throughout the show, that I relate to very much so. And I wonder if that's a predisposition for someone who's been through addiction and found recovery. But I might just touch on that a couple of times through the show too. Yeah. Guys, as I was just mentioning, Matty Colwell, an incredible, talented man who's been through addiction and also found his passion. There's been a couple of passions in your life, actually, hasn't there? Basketball,
music, Jesus.
Jesus, yes,
Yeah.
Jesus, Christianity.
Yeah.
And it's such an honor. And one thing I actually got suggested by one of my good mates, I'm going to give him a shout out straight away, Gaz Wright. He knows I get very excited. You know, Gaz, he said, Dan, try not to get too excited. But I can't help it, you know. On you, Gaz. Yeah. Good. So, yeah, I just want to introduce you to the show formally.
Yeah,
and,
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you. One thing I know that we were both on the methadone, so we're going to start straight off.
Yeah, let's dive into it.
I was a methadonian I was on it for 13 years.
Wow.
Yourself? 3 years
Wow.
about. Was it for you?
I was on the bupe for a long time. So when did that even start? I don't know when that started. I think that maybe was first time I went to a detox.
Yeah.
They put me on the chicken soup.
The chicken soup.
And then
Is that the bupe? The chicken soup? The chicken
yeah.
soup's the bupe, yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, by the way, methadone, buprenorphine is a government prescribed opiate. Some might say to keep control of me.
Yeah, like a drug replacement that
Yeah.
you take every morning. Bupe, I guess bupe is in a way better than methadone because you can't abuse it.
I heard you saying that, yeah. But on that note, they abuse it
In
heavily
prison
in
and that,
prison. Like
yeah.
it's the drug of choice in every prison these days.
Which is surprising. Like,
It wasn't Suboxone. Is Suboxone the one that maybe you can't abuse? No, it's obviously.
Yeah, no, it's Suboxone. I think that's what they're using.
Yeah.
But I thought once you developed a habit for it,
Yeah.
you couldn't actually get high off it.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's definitely, that's very true. That's what it was like on the methadone too, I guess. Once you have that high dependence, you can't really get stoned.
Yeah. And so I was on like the bupe for ages, and then I remember going to this place where I was like, I just want to feel something. And I don't know if that was a conscious awareness or not, but I just was like, okay, let's go for the methadone. Like, let's talk my family into it, get them on board, twist them around my finger, manipulate my doctor. And that was the worst decision for me, man. Like, getting on the methadone, I was able to save up my takeaways, pretend I was trustworthy, and then I would get all the takeaways and just do them all at once, and then be hanging out for the next few days, waiting for the next dose. And it was just this vicious cycle. Put on a lot of weight, gave me the munchies hard, and I was like a fiend for sugar when I was on methadone.
Yes, I remember. I still am. It's like it's something that stays with you, or for me it has been. Like but yeah, definitely put on a bit of weight.
Yeah. And then I went to rehab in 2020 for 4.5 months, and they weaned me off the methadone. And I remember getting to a place where I felt really stable. I was also weaning off the benzos as well.
Yeah.
And I was feeling kind of good. And then I got home, and it's like just got flooded with these withdrawal like feelings, and it was weird because I wasn't having that right when I left rehab.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I do here? Wanted to start drinking, and just to numb that feeling. But I was like so aware of, if I do that, my parents are going to see. Like, you can't really mask that. So I can't do that. So I started doing crazy stuff like drinking Listerine to give me that kind of numb feeling, but quickly was like, this is bad. Like, Googling what the effects of that are, like it can make you go blind. And so then I hit the doctor and was like, look, this is what I'm doing. And he put me back on Suboxone, on like 10 milligrams of Valium. And then it was like over the last 6 years, has been a process of weaning off all that, and I was on like 5 different medications as well. And then somewhere along the last 2 or 3 years, they swapped. Instead of Suboxone, they gave me Sublocade.
Yeah, the injection. Yeah, that's right.
So that was awesome.
Yes, I've heard some wonderful things.
So I was able to get off that. Haven't had that for over a year now. No withdrawals, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's incredible.
Miracle drug.
Like a revolutionary drug these days. It's like a replacement for the bupe or for for the methadone. So, Matty, let's go back. I'd love to hear how this all started. Yeah, do you want to take us back a little bit?
Yeah.
Where did tell us about it.
Yeah, so I grew up in Croydon in Melbourne, sort of Ringwood area. Come from a beautiful family, very supportive mother and father. My dad is an absolute machine. Just came from poverty, like came from nothing.
Yeah, right.
And then was like, I am never going to put my family through what I've been through. So he just busted his ass and provided for us materially, but also stability and peace. He just went above and beyond. And I started playing basketball when I was like 5 and wanted to do that as a career. So me and him just he started training me to be a pro basketballer.
Oh, wow.
You know, so we'd get up before school. He'd take me to this special training thing. After school, we'd do all these drills. It was just like, that was it, you know, going hard. Yeah. And he really taught me the art of discipline, you know. If you want something, you go for it, you know, like you work so hard for it, which was amazing. I think there was also an element of, like, I really love my old man and I've always wanted his approval. And there was, when I became a teenager, I started losing interest in basketball, but I was doing it more to please him, you know, and didn't have the heart to really say that because I thought I would break his heart. So I end up just kept doing it, which I think caused me to develop a lot of people-pleasing tendencies, where it's like,
you talk about this.
I start putting other people's needs above my own, thinking that that is how people will like you, I guess, and that's how you operate. And that sort of has lasted a long time, still does in ways in my life now. Started making music when I was 14, and that became my main passion. Yeah. But I never thought it could be a career.
Yeah.
And then that took off early 20s, and around this time, we were big party animals. Like, me and my mates we'd get on it on the weekend, go on benders. I was on Centrelink, so it was like I'd get $250 a fortnight, I think, or maybe a week. I'm not sure. I can't remember what it was. And then we'd blow that in a weekend, and then we just wait till we get more money and then go partying again. And then music took off, and it was like I came into all this money, and it was like, well, why stop? Yeah. Like, let's just make this one big party and have fun, you know? And I was never trying to escape anything. It was, for me, I was trying to make a good time even better. Like, I was happy. I never had anxiety or depression or anything like that. And then it was like everything just kind of spiraled out of control slowly. It was like I started dabbling in really hard stuff like ice, heroin and OxyContin, stuff like that. And was just like, the high that I got from that was just phenomenal. But it was like, that was something that I was doing in between benders. So we'd go on these coke benders, meth, speed, whatever. And that was fun, but it wasn't the high that I liked that much. It was like, that's awesome. I love drinking and going on benders, but during the come downs, I'd be like popping codeine pills and stuff like that if I couldn't get oxys. But then mainly trying to just take OxyContin all the time. And that was the high that I was like, this is awesome. I love whatever this feeling is. And just thought I could stop. I was like, you know, I remember people being like, dude, you need to be careful. Like, these OxyContin 80 milligrams are for people that are dying of cancer, and you're just taking them.
You're on the 80s,
yeah.
Yeah. What do they call them? I know the hundreds, they called them the grey nurses. I think the 80s had a nickname.
Oh, really?
Well. I'm from Croydon in Sydney, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Not from there. That's where I live now. But yeah, the oxys are like government grade heroin, really, isn't it? That's
100%.
Let's face it, you know. So you enjoyed that mellow. Numb,
just chill me out, man.
Feeling, and that's what the methadone and the bupe kind of replicated as well, which is probably why. So, what about your relationship with your dad? Like, Dad was a big supporter. Where did he learn to train you up in basketball, and where did he get his regimented routine stuff from?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So he he had to sort of fend for himself from a young age. He lost his parents quite young.
Yeah.
And had to just pretty much step up and provide for himself from a young age. But I don't know where he got that discipline from to like work every day and just go hard.
How old's your dad?
He's about 80,
Yeah,
81.
so that's like through, well, World War II happened back then too. I guess Vietnam happened too. I'm thinking about my dad because I had, so how was your relationship? Like, I know he was a big supporter. Were you close? Like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I love yous, things like that?
Yeah, when we were young, like when I was a little boy, Dad was very affectionate.
Yeah, okay.
Like we used
Beautiful,
I used to
good.
be best mates with my dad.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I
I've
mean?
heard you say that.
Used to watch TV together, arm in arm. The whole family would just be on a couch lying
Yeah.
together. But then I think,
beautiful.
I think when we reached teenage years, me and my brother, my dad got a bit uncomfortable when it comes to affection. I think because we're grown men.
Yeah.
He was just like, that's a bit gay or a bit soft.
Yeah,
or
a bit weird,
strange
yeah.
for his generation.
It was, yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's not someone who is good with sharing his feelings. Like with kids, he comes out of his shell a lot.
Yeah.
But then with us being men now, he's not someone who will be like, I love you or I'm proud of you. But he shows it in other ways.
Sure,
like he will go
of course.
above and beyond for you, do things for you, and he'll show his love in that regard. Like, for example, like he doesn't hate religion necessarily. I think he has a hatred for religion.
Yeah.
And he cringes when at the topic of it, when it's discussed and all this kind of stuff. So I thought, oh, he's going to be hating this direction that I'm going. And then he because he doesn't really say much about it, but then I got baptized and he made like these big crucifixes for me to put in my room. You know, that's his way of saying I love you and I support what you're going through, you know, even though he might not verbalize it.
Yeah, man.
So like, yeah, it is a bit, it's not like we're that affectionate now like we used to be.
If you don't mind me asking, my dad never said I love you to me. He was very much in my corner. My dad used to visit me in prison. He used to have my back 100%, but I love you was never part of our vocabulary. And if you don't mind me just bringing up, my beautiful partner is a trauma addiction therapist, along with me as well. She always talks about my relationship with my dad was part of, even though I say my dad was the best, you know, I called him Shonky, by the way. I called him Tony. I never called him Dad either. But I guess where I'm going with this, and I wonder what you think, is because he never said I love you and we didn't have that close, although you did, but it can affect us later on. Like you're saying now it doesn't affect you really, but she's trying to suggest, or they suggest, that us missing out on that close bond can have an effect on.
Look, so like my dad would say he loved me.
Yeah.
But I think it got to the point as we got older.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of have to force
moved
that
away
to
from
come
it.
out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he would actually genuinely come, I love you so much. Like that was very hard for him to do. And I think also, a big part for me was that I felt like he loved me more when I was going hard in basketball. When I was striving and busting my ass and doing these kind of pretty intense drills, like I would do, just hectic stuff to keep me fit, to try and improve my jumps and stuff like that. I felt like I was gaining more love from him.
Even now, would you say that?
I think it's something that has stuck with me in the sense that I need to strive in everything that I do in order for it to determine my worth as a person. I think that kind of shaped and molded me from a very young age, that I still have that ingrained in me. But now it's more just I apply that discipline to things, but I don't think that it earns me more love or favor. Like I think it's not as intense as it used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's important for you to make Dad proud too, isn't it? Like it's
big
something
time. Big time, man.
Yeah. And what about Mum?
Yeah, Mum is a sweetheart.
Yeah?
Yeah, Mum's an absolute sweetheart. Like she's always been a source of warmth, very nurturing and very feminine and kind and encouraging. So the love that I probably wish Dad would show, she was always there to give, you know. And I think they're interesting. I feel like they have the traditional gender roles, Like dad is the one who will push you, enforce boundaries, teach you to delay gratification, and mum will be the one who's like, she might set some boundaries, but she's not the one enforcing them. She's the one to hug you when you fall, when you try new things. Dad will be the one to pick you up and keep pushing you. You know what I mean? I see the way that they've operated in quite a traditional sense, and I respect that.
I've recently heard you talking on one of your stories about the masculinity around exactly that, about how the father, how important it is for people today to have a father that is able to be present and be not just present, but to be able to love and show direction as well. And the mums are good to make the boundaries, but dad kind of needed to enforce it, just as you said there too. It is a very important part. I've got a beautiful 8-year-old daughter, so that really sat heavily with me, and I have a big role in her life. So I really, what's your thoughts on that? You don't have kids, do you?
No, not yet, man.
Not yet. Yeah.
I'd love to be a dad. I'm not sure if it's on the cards, but I would love. I'm not sure. Not with anyone at the moment. So just cruising, focusing on my relationship with God, and if that happens, then I'm all for it.
Can't wait to talk about your relationship with God too. I've mentioned a couple of times that I've got a good mate, someone I've worked with for a long time, who was stuck in the darkest addiction I've ever seen. And he found Christianity, he found God, Jesus, and he is the biggest, the bloke is killing it now. And he's doing really well. So, and that's been your story of late. You found God pretty recently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It was probably about... Actually, so like Pez found God, like God intervened in Pez's life about 3 years ago, and maybe even 4 years ago. And he had this radical encounter, was transformed very, very quickly. And I was so resistant, man. I was so cynical about it. I remember when he called me, he's like, man, I've been baptized, born again. Yeah. And I was like, what's happened to him?
Yeah.
Like he's lost his mind.
Yes.
He's gone off the deep end.
Yes.
I've lost my mate. Then I'd catch up with him, and he was like completely transformed, man.
Calm?
Calm. He'd struggled with people pleasing as well. And then suddenly he was like, it wasn't governing his life anymore. It was like, instead of letting the opinions of others sway him, he would lean into it, and he would use it like a compass. So like if there was resistance, and he would lean into it more. You know what I mean? He was boldly coming back and sharing the gospel with like a big group of our friends who were all like, dude, what are you doing? But he didn't. He was like, this is the truth. This is what's happened in my life, you know? And there was a lot of wisdom that came with it that he was sharing with me. I was like, I didn't think that that's what this was about. I always had my own ideas about what Christianity was and what Jesus taught and all these things. And he was able to break it down in a way that made me go, oh, maybe there's more to this than I thought, you know? And then I started, and I think with him too, because he's such a close mate of mine. Yeah. I know he's so intelligent and wise that he wouldn't fall for something that was nonsense.
So you were thinking that at the same time. And in another way, you're probably, like I thought, is this guy going in some kind of psychosis? I thought my mate was. Because how did you change from not believing and being an atheist almost to all of a sudden turning your life around? I thought my mate Jimmy was in psychosis, which I imagine you must have originally felt a little bit like that.
I remember I was like, he's lost it. Maybe like something's happened. Yeah. And then when we'd catch up, it was like the opposite of losing it. Like he'd found himself. He'd found freedom. He'd found that all the answers that he was searching for his whole life were found in Christ. And that, I think because it was him, I don't think I would have been open to it. I reckon I've got another mate, Mo, who's a real close mate of mine. If he had have found Christ as well, I reckon I would have been open to it then too. Yeah. But I started going, all right, let's check this out. Let's actually have a read for myself instead of just judging what I think it is without really knowing. I'll look into it and see what it is. And that would have been about 3 years ago. And now I feel like I've been a Christian probably for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Yeah. And it's just changed my life.
So did you start reading the Bible? Is that where it started?
Started reading the Bible. It made no sense.
Yeah.
It was like, this is weird. It's like, then this happened, then he did this. And it's like this story that just doesn't really make that much sense. Like it's saying something, but now after spending like 3 years in the Bible, it's all coming to life in the most craziest way, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the Old Testament is a hand with about 50,000 fingers on it. The New Testament is another hand with 50,000 fingers on it, and they join perfectly like this. It's like this story that is written by multiple different authors that tells one unified story, and it's like, this is impossible to be. Like, I always thought, it's written by men, so maybe they have manipulated the story to make it fit, or make it come across in a way that sounds pleasing. And it's like, the more I'm digging into it, the more it's coming to life and just blowing my mind.
Is it like who wrote that? Who comes up with, when you're reading a passage, and I'm not a big Bible reader, but you just relate directly to that. Like it was like God that wrote. It's like God that wrote that, and every single word fits. Like you said too. I've experienced that extraordinary sort of feeling of relating to. For me, it was some other literature around recovery stuff that I really related to. And I just think this is written about me. So who wrote the Bible?
It's multiple different authors, but it's so it's like written by humans in the sense that they wrote it on the paper, but it's inspired by the Holy Spirit. Yeah. So like the Holy Spirit has his hand over the whole thing. But it's multiple different people. So like Moses wrote a lot of the Pentateuch, I think it's called, the first 5 books. Then there's like different prophets, and then there's the Gospels, which talk about Jesus, his life, his ministry, his teachings and all that. And then the New Testament epistles, which are people like Paul, James, and also John, who wrote the Gospel of John in the book of Revelation, and 1 John and 2 John as well. There's so much wisdom in it, man. It is just constantly blowing my mind. And it's like, I have to start my morning every day in the Bible. And if I don't, I feel like disconnected. I feel off, like something's not right. It sets the mood for the day. It helps me focus on him and ground myself in God. It helps me to remember why I'm living, what my purpose is. Like, I used to think my purpose in life was to enrich myself, was to make money, to get girls, to get famous. And that was why I was doing music, because it provided all of that. It provided all this approval and validation. And God has helped me see that my life is not about that. My life is meant to serve him instead of serve myself. Meant to live for the king instead of trying to make myself a king. It's very humbling. So it's like you're going from this life of trying to be the main character of your own movie. You're trying to be the producer, the director of your own film, to going to, okay, I'm not the main star. I haven't written any of it. He actually is. I'm just an extra in the background to try and make Jesus look good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's not about glorifying myself.
Yeah, it's not about you anymore. It's you're part of the story.
Yes,
I guess.
yes.
Yeah, man. Mate, Matt, sorry, I chop and change. I've been back and forth. I know we're talking about Mum. I know Pez has played a huge part. And it sounds like he's the one that introduced you to Christianity too. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He also helped introduce you to the big guns in music as well. Is that right?
Yeah. So he had his career took off when we did the festival song, and he had all this interest from record labels.
Yeah.
And
he chucked you in the mix.
Mate, he was
Day
like,
one.
come show him your music, man.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, bro.
Mate, I had a chat with him last night. I don't think I explained to him how much I understand that he's played a role in your life. I just wanted to,
Yeah, man, I got so much respect for him. Like
that.
a lot of people in the music industry are, I guess, snakish in the way that it will become a competition. It's like, oh no, his competition. I'm not going to try and give him a platform. You know what I mean? Pez was never like that, bro. Yeah. He was just like, come man, let's go. Like, he was rejoicing when I was successful. He was not threatened. You know what I mean? He was proud of me. He wasn't like, oh, what about me? You know what I mean? It's
So you do all, and if I don't know how to say this, but so he helped start you off, and then you kind of like really took off, didn't you? You know, like, and if you don't mind, and I notice on all your brochures too, you Pez is you lead, like Pez is always your main man too. He's always involved in all your stuff.
Yeah. That's just, we've always had just like this kind of like kinship, you know, like we're brothers. So like when his career took off, he was looking out for me, and like through my career, like I've always wanted to get him on a big song to try and help pump him. And now that he's transitioning back into music, trying to get him on that too, like get him on every single show as much as possible. Like we want to be doing it together. That was always the aim.
I love that. It's
back in the day, we were
thing.
like, let's do this together. But he had an album that he wanted to put out.
Yeah.
So it was like, he was like, oh, let's just put that out first. And then so he put that out. His career took off, and then I was working on my own stuff. So then we sort of went in our own direction. But now where we're at in our life, we're coming back together and be like, let's actually do this.
You played basketball together too, did you?
Yes. Yeah, that's where we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 15 or 16.
And he was very talented at basketball too. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy good. It's crazy, man. Like I haven't played basketball probably 20 years or something. And I pick up a ball now and I am useless, right?
Because you're eye?
I think I'm just not naturally
you're lost.
athletic.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a bit lanky.
You must be like 39 now, is it?
Yeah, 39. Yeah. I was someone who, if I trained enough, I could do it semi-good. But Pez, like he picked up a ball the other day and he hasn't trained. He hasn't played for as long. And he was just, it was like he hadn't taken time off at all. He's just naturally talented.
Did you ever get into skateboard riding?
I did, yeah.
Did you? Me too.
I was obsessed, man.
Well, I got this out. Would you mind signing this for me?
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, I'd love. And actually, my son Joshua asked. My beautiful son Joshua asked me if you could get it riding.
Oh, I wrote down.
That's good. And Josh, maybe. You're a legend. This one's for you, Josh.
Is that sound all good, man, with the music going? Yeah. I love the name Josh, man. You know,
good.
You know
it's a biblical name. That's why I picked him, mate. I mean, I was sticking heroin use at the time, but I heard Joshua was a biblical name. I said, let's call him Josh. You know, Matt, before we just move on to the next, like I feel so fortunate because we've been on this same journey. I feel like it adds this extra level of I can be quite authentic with you. I can be quite comfortable with you. I just love that. It's one of the big. It's how we're here actually. Mick Lappard, just give you a shout out. Do you want to just talk a little bit about how you met Mick? Like, I know you were talking with Mick, and you reached out to Mick. What happened with that?
Yeah, he's just, I love the way he's so raw, man.
Yeah.
Like he's doing stuff about his recovery journey. But like, I think one thing I notice on the internet is people want to put on the highlight reel of their life, you know? So if you're putting it out there that you're clean, and then you have a slip up, a lot of people will be like, I can't tell anyone.
Yeah, he's straight up there.
Mick is just like, I've stumbled. Like I've fell. I've got to go back to rehab. And I think he's been back a couple of times since I started talking.
And you offered him a Bible, actually. That's how, I think that was your first message to him. We were chatting about it last night, man.
Yeah. And like even just the recent stint he's done, I was just like, I admire this guy, the way he's able to show people, because this is what happens when you're going through recovery. You have these lapses, you have these, it's a constant fight, man. And he just owns it. I really respect that.
Yeah, he does. He's quite I mean, it's important for other people, and you said this last night in your show, that it's important for us to be able to show that like it's not always a perfect journey either, is it? You know, relapse was certainly part of my journey. I know it's been part of your journey too. How are we going for time, Dan? Are we about?
Yeah, 35.
We're on 35, are we?
Yeah.
So
We'll just keep it going, bro. And
yeah, cool.
If they need me, they'll come get me.
All right, good. On that, fuck, what was I going to say then? On that note, Just
recovery, and it's a up and down, and the lapses, and
yeah, thanks. Yeah, oh, that's what I was going to say. Thanks, Matt. So the most recent podcast I listened to, it's quite a long one. I forget who it was, but it was 2023, right? And this will take you back a little bit, because at the time you were talking about you finished rehab, you haven't found God yet. Well, maybe you've already been introduced, but you're in a really good space at the time. Now, I've been thinking a lot about this, because now you've found God and you're in a whole nother better space, because I guess you're really living your best sober life today without a lot of the constraints you had before. When you think back to those two times, like 2023, you just come out of a bit of a binge, didn't you? Or just got off the methadone, I think. Is that right?
The methadone I stopped in 2020.
Yeah.
So I would have been on the bupe, I reckon.
Yeah,
Maybe
you're on the bupe.
Probably right before the Sublocade.
Yep. And you got, the way you explained it, you were in quite a good space at the time, you know. Let me remind you something. You understood the power of exercise. You started doing push-ups. I think you said this one quote that got you motivated. It was something around, if you just get down on the floor and do one push-up, and while you're down there, tell yourself to do a couple more. Did you ever say that?
Yeah, man. I was so depressed. I had no motivation. And that one thing was what helped me develop the discipline of working out again, which changed my life.
You still physical?
Going hard, man.
Yeah,
doing
good.
a lot of kickboxing.
Yeah.
And weights. Yeah.
Yeah. Weight training. So you're at the gym regularly?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a huge part of my recovery too.
Yeah, man. I think I hear your audio messages when you're at the gym, mate. I'm like,
sure.
He sounds like he's at the gym, man. I love that.
Every day. It's like one of those foundations of my recovery. You know, they say recovery or personal development, mental, physical, and spiritual too. And they're three parts of the, that I really treasure.
Yeah, I when I first got not clean, but first went to detox and got put on Suboxone. I became obsessed with the gym.
Yeah,
and it was like the first time I was like, oh man, this feels amazing. Like life is great. Like I'm really enjoying it. But I was still slipping up. Like I was using every now and then. So it provides a good foundation and a good way of channeling that energy, but it still didn't fix what was going on.
No, because recovery is hard work, isn't it? Like it's not, you can't just get on the bupe or get off the bupe and stop using drugs. The drugs aren't the problem. I'm the problem. It was my inability to live my life without the use of a drug. That was the problem.
Yeah, bro.
And I know that through Christianity, you've found some of that stuff that you spoke about with Pez. That peace. Some of that peace stuff too. All right, bro. We definitely should start talking about some of your music then.
Yeah, for sure.
First thing I want to talk about is the Eminem thing. Wow, what an incredible part of your career. You got reached out to. Did Eminem put you on the list to start?
So this is interesting. I remember the label hit me up and they're like, "Oh, Eminem's coming out, and he selects who supports him."
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way. Like he's that involved. I just could not imagine that.
That's good to hear.
But then I've had someone tell me that that's not true. But I don't know. I like to just pretend that he did.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
The label were like, all right, we're just going to send him some songs. And I was like, if they send him the songs, they're going to just send my biggest radio songs. And
it's not what you wanted.
Nah. I was like, I think Eminem, and like he was from the battle rap world. He does a lot of, he's so like his art and his technical ability when it comes to rapping is so extreme that I wanted to show him that I had similar taste or similar love for the craft of rap. Yeah. So I was like, send him these, like send him my battle rap, send him these raw songs, but also send him the big ones as well, like show a bit of a range. And then they did that and came back and they were like, yeah, you're in. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. That is.
Where was this? What year is this?
I think it was 2014.
Yeah, wow. So that's right back when you're really in the thick of it too, isn't it?
Yeah, which is interesting because like this was within, I think it was like a 6-month period of going to detox and going to the gym. So I was in a very healthy place. That was a tour I didn't drink or didn't do anything. So I was actually in a great place then, which was a blip out of that, the whole last 15 years. That little blip was like a little healthy point, but then I just fell off again.
Well, that was like it was meant to be too, for you to be in that place. So what was it like? How many people did you perform in front of?
So the stadium itself, I think one of them was 60,000, but I was probably like second on.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been
filling
that,
up still.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been that full. I reckon it probably was about 20.
Yeah.
Which is still amazing, bro. And like in New Zealand, it was like shockers, man. It was amazing. And the crowd there went crazy.
Yeah.
Like they loved it, but didn't get to meet him.
Yeah, I heard that. That's a shame. But it's because the price of fame, isn't it? Like
exactly.
Yeah, which is one of your songs too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I definitely want to talk about that too. My goodness, there's so much to talk about. So that was a big part of your career. That was early in the days. Another thing, Matt, I wanted to talk to you about. There was times that you didn't listen to music. Through your music career, you sort of had a bit of a numb stage where you didn't even listen to... were you performing at that time still?
Depends, man. I think there was moments like from Vintage Modern, which would have been about 8 or 9 years ago. I don't think there was much listening to music or performing until 2023.
Yeah, so excuse me, what I was talking, you might not even know what I'm talking about. I heard that there were times when you were quite depressed and sad and not really into the feels, and you were quite isolated. You didn't want to sort of participate in life, I guess.
100%, man. I was so withdrawn and isolated from everyone. I think I was chasing fame and status so much, and thinking that made me valuable. When I was like, everyone loved me. I was getting all this attention. It was like, yes, I'm finally validated. I mean something. And then you realize that the attention that they're giving you, they've got this idea of who you are, but they have no idea who you actually are. And then if you're not doing well, you're getting none of that attention. It's like this kind of roller coaster of chasing people's validation, but the validation you get is fake. It's not real. So it's like this constant tornado of like, oh, mate, they determine my worth. My success in the charts determines my worth. So unless that's what other people think of me is what determines who I am, that's my whole identity. So it was like, and then I had all these experiences with people who weren't really, they were around me, but they were yes men. They did not have my best interests at heart. And they were just taking advantage and wanting to be around the drugs and the money and the fame and the shows and all that, the lifestyle. And then when I was like struggling and like needed good people around me, they just scattered kind of thing. And then I kind of had this wall up that was like, I can't trust anyone. But I could, I think if I look back to my friends that I had before, my day ones, you know what I mean? They never changed the way they treated me. They were always honest. They didn't just start telling me what I wanted to hear in order to be around me. But I probably just faded away from them because I was like, all I wanted to hear was validation and yes, you know what I mean? So yeah, bro, I was so isolated, withdrawn and just shut in from the world and never wanted to connect with people. And it was actually a really big struggle to start exploring faith and Christianity, because that's something you cannot do that on your own. Like it's a staple part of faith is community. Yeah. And so I was like fighting demons, man, like going to church and like I remember being like, I don't want to hang around anyone, like internally, but feeling like God was putting it on my heart to be like, say yes to every offer to have lunch or to catch up with people, unless there's like, I get a feeling of discernment saying, be careful of this guy. Something's untrustworthy about him or something. So I just started saying yes to everything that felt right. And now I've got like a mad community around me. Like a very selfless community in the sense that they don't want anything from me. Like they will go above and beyond for me if I need them to, without wanting anything in return. And that's such a beautiful part of it, man, you know, which has really healed my trust issues. Like I'm able to spend time with people and just know that they're not in it for something.
You experience that selflessness stuff, I guess. Matt, that's it. Well, I think that's part of where you're at today with finding peace in the God thing, being able to, the God thing, like your choices around Christianity. I think that's the happiness that you have today. The spirit, like my spirit was black for a long time. I was on the methadone for 13 years, as I mentioned. And through all of that, it's like my spirit had this dark and cloud around it, you know. And when I found recovery in 2009, it's been 16 years for me.
Far out.
Yeah, it's been 16 years without a drink or a drug. So total abstinence, that's been the model I've done. But it took me a couple of years for that to start to wake up. But when it did, I think of meeting you last night backstage. I can't imagine, you must have been full of adrenaline still after the show, but it must be a euphoric feeling and an extraordinary feeling that not many human beings would get to experience. But how, do you think about that much, like the position that you're in? Yeah.
Oh man, I am so thankful, because I thought that I reached all these massive heights and got success and fame and money and all this, and was like quickly became that cliche of becoming a junkie and then throwing it all away. And then I was like, I've lost it. And rightfully, I feel like probably justified in having it taken away from me. It became such a source of self-glorification and trying to make myself an object of worship. And I believe that God had every right to take it away from me. But now that He's like, no, I think
it's coming back.
I still want you to do it, but I want you to pivot the message now. I want you to be doing it for me and not for yourself anymore, you know. But I really relate to what you said, man, about your spirit being black. Yeah. Like it's like life in general, when you're in the thick of addiction, is just like there's black and white. It's just all grayscale. And then you get clean and you're trying to sort your life out, and it stays like that for a while. But then suddenly color starts coming back. Yeah. It's like you see the vibrancy and the joy of life again. It's like, I remember this. Yeah. This is like when I was a child.
Yes.
And then it's like the more you stay disciplined and grounded in love and walking in the light, the more that color comes in. It's just like, this is what life is about, you know? Yeah. And instead of just clouding it with the drugs all the time.
I feel like that's gratitude we're talking about, you know. It's a bit of gratitude. I remember being I did one of the rehabs, Who's, you know, you've heard of Who's? It's a rehab in Sydney. But I remember I was only 60 days clean or something, and people would talk about how beautiful the grounds of Roselle were, and I just used to think, shut the fuck up about how beautiful the ground. I couldn't give a fuck how beautiful the grounds are, you know. Or I'd see people holding hands in the street and cuddling, and I used to think, get a room, you know. And then 2 years later, I'm starting to notice, look how beautiful the grounds are, you know. And I love to see people holding hands and sharing love too. That just reminded me, that's a big part of my spirit waking up. You know, one day, if you don't mind me sharing, I was walking home 10:30 at night. My early days of recovery were quite miserable, like the insanity. My head just would not shut up. It was just noise and noise. You explained that really well once. But then I looked up at the moon, and I seen this moon. I thought, wow, look at that. Like, what was that? And I felt connected to the universe for the first time in my life. And I've kind of chased that feeling ever since. You know, gratitude is a big part of why I stay clean, you know.
I mean, I've had the same experience in the sense of like, I don't get why people will go and watch a sunset and look at the coast and that. I'm like, this is boring, man. What are you doing? And over the last few years, that's all I do is just go and just marvel at it. Look at this, man. It's like, you know, when you're on acid and it's like, you take it in, it's like you're seeing it for the first time. But it's like a real version of that. It's like you're not having to take a chemical to do it. It's like you're appreciating it appreciating it from a place of presence.
Yeah, man. Gratitude is my drug. That's one of the little sayings I've said over the years. I totally get that. It's spirituality, man. I think that's a spiritual awakening. I think that's my connection to the universe, something bigger and better than me too. Madam, if you don't mind me bringing up this a little bit, you overdosed. Do you want to talk about that? And this brings me back to Mum, because I didn't focus enough on your mum. I know that when you overdosed, it was like is this right? This is when the world, you couldn't hide it anymore. What was going on for you? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this was for my third album, Utopia, and I was on tour, and I was so addicted to OxyContin that I tried to get like a whole stash of it from the doctor to keep me going for the whole tour. And like I got this, all this stuff, like a drug addict's dream, you know what I mean?
Sure.
All these oxys and that.
Yeah.
And then went through them in about 2 days before the tour.
Yeah.
And was like, what do I do now? So I just went around pharmacy hopping, getting Nurofen Plus.
Oh, my God.
Which was like,
You'd
that's
have
what I
to
would
swallow
take.
50 tablets just to get a stone, eh?
Yeah, so I was on 90 at this time.
90 tablets. Yeah.
And that wouldn't even get me high. It would just take away the withdrawals. And so I was just doing that. And I remember we did like a few shows, and it was before the Byron Bay show. And I was like, I just want to feel something. So I just had 120 tablets, 4 packets instead of 3. And then I just woke up in hospital. Like apparently I was convulsing, and they called the ambos and that. And I woke up and I was on suicide watch with someone guarding me because they thought I'd try to kill myself. They looked in my luggage, and I had like some clothes in there, but the rest were just Nurofen Plus boxes. They were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I would never try to kill myself,
No.
Never. But this was every day, and they just didn't believe it. They're like, there's no way you try to do that every day. Like,
so 4 boxes a day, like
3.
3 to
Then
4.
four
That
in
day
that
was
one.
4.
Yeah.
Man, and this is why they took Codeine off the shelves.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were doing this. I used to do it too, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, mostly I'd be using heroin, but if I had to, I would be eating the Nurofen Plus, and if you could get what were the other ones? Panaline Fort.
Yeah.
They were like 32 milligrams. The Nurofen Plus were 8 milligrams or 12 milligrams. Sorry,
Man, I know there's other stuff you can use that aren't even opiates that will, if you take enough, they will do it for you. I won't even say it on here because I don't want to give people any ideas.
No ideas, guys.
But
this is the things we used to do, isn't it? We were very resourceful.
Oh, mate. Bro. Crazy. But you know what's crazy is my insides should be cooked, man.
Yeah.
Like I've destroyed myself and then
true.
had all these tests, and they're like,
And you're okay.
"You're sweet." The body is so resilient, man.
It's God too, mate.
Yeah.
They're blessed, you know.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very fortunate for the exact same reason, mate. I've done some big damage to my body over the years, and today I'm here chatting with you, living the dream, mate. Mate, is there any big regrets that you've got?
I've got so many, bro.
Yeah.
Like if I could go over and do my time again, I would change the way I moved through all of it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't have ended up where I am now.
That's
I don't
right.
think I would have faith in Christ if my life had been sunshine and roses. Like I think I needed to go through that in order to find him. And I think, to be honest, he permitted me to go through all of this stuff to now be able to show people that there is a way out, to shine his light. I remember when I first found Christ, there was, I was like, I was praying, like, what do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to stop making music? Like, do you want me to just quit this and go into like ministry full time or something like that?
You were considering it too, huh? Yeah, whatever.
I still would be down to do that if you wanted me to do that. And this was right before I did my last tour, and was just kind of questioning, and had one of my friends came up to me after I shared my testimony at my church, and he was like, there's this passage in, I think it's in a lot of the Gospels, where Jesus heals a man who's possessed by demons, and then the guy who is healed, he wants to follow Christ and go wherever he goes from then on. And Christ says to him, go to your town and show them what the Lord has done for you. And it was like this moment that was like, oh, that was God. I felt it was God speaking to me and going like, this is what I want you to do. I don't want you to get rid of your platform or to just quit now. I want you to use it and to show people what I've done for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is why it's really important for you at your show last night, and that I seen you at Sydney too. You sort of stopped for a little while, and you want to let people know kind of that. That's kind of what you do, isn't it? You stop for a little while and you let people know. Yeah.
Last night I did it in a very different way than the last tour. I was a lot less direct last one.
Yeah, you were direct last night, weren't you?
Yeah, I was quite hesitant. Like I remember at the start, I was like, I know how off-putting it can be. I know that when I've seen people who become born again Christian and just start shouting it from the rooftops, it's almost like this, trying to force it down people's throat, and almost like trying to guilt people into it. Yeah, and I'm very mindful of
you
not
don't
doing
do that at all.
I appreciate that, man.
No, you deliver it very well. I think there couldn't be a better way. You you absolutely, you even say that you're not trying to do that. You know, this is just what's working for you. And you feel like it's part of your story to share that with us.
Yeah. I think given the context around the drug addiction too, like I tried everything, man. I tried everything and nothing actually healed it apart from God. God was the only thing that has stopped me even wanting to use, you know?
Let's talk about that. For me, what remedies have you done? So you done counselling?
Yep.
You've had a life coach? Yeah, psychologist.
Life coach.
You ever done hypnosis?
Nah.
Didn't work for me. Yeah, okay. What about what else? Have you done methadone? That didn't.
Yeah, methadone.
Probably kept me alive, methadone, for a while, but yeah.
I definitely think Suboxone was good for me, but the methadone wasn't.
Yeah.
So the gym, eating well.
12-step fellowship. I heard you had a crack at that.
I went to a couple meetings.
Yeah.
And I was in such a raw place, man.
Yeah.
That I had no trust. And then people were coming up to me and asking me to rap for them. And I was like, I can't be here.
Thanks for sharing that, because you hadn't shared that previously. I knew that. I wondered, and I figured that. Okay, so that made it hard for you to be a part of 12-step fellowship because people wanted you to rap.
Right. And it was like, it was cute, right? I get it. But it was like, I was about to pour my heart out and just say things that I was like, I don't trust anyone. Yeah. Like, I don't think anyone's going to keep this to themselves, even though I know it's quite sacred in there.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that if I share some of my darkest stuff, people aren't going to guess what I heard the other night. So just like, I'm not gonna do this. I don't think this is for me. But mind you, I respect it a lot. Sure. Man. Like I've seen so many people be set free from that and find happiness and find peace.
It's definitely been a big part of my journey, the 12-step fellowship. But I imagine. Yeah, I imagine for you being in the position that you are, super famous, platinum record, like I imagine you are in a super unique position where there must be some challenges for you to be able to talk openly, for example, at a 12-step fellowship meeting and get the goods. And you would also be super conscious of, I guess, trusting people at times as well.
Yeah. So tell me, man.
Yeah.
What's your experience been with God?
Yeah, thanks, man. So I always had a belief. Actually, I grew up in a Catholic school. Grew up. I mean, I went to Catholic school. I got kicked out of Catholic school as well. Always had a belief of God. But when I entered recovery, so then I went through 17 years of hurting myself and almost feeling like, how can there be a God? The only time I would pray was when I was sitting in a jail cell saying, God, please get me out of here. So I was, I think, what they call an agnostic. So I believe maybe it's good for you, but it's not going to work for me. That's my belief, you know. And when I entered recovery in 2009, that moon incident that I spoke about, it was like I felt connected to God, you know. And I basically just let you know, I pray every single day. I don't think I've missed one single day the past 16 years. I talk to God every day, all day. I talk to him on the way here, and I talk to him about you, bro. You know, 100%. Like
likewise, man. I prayed for you too.
Oh, bless, man. Yeah. I need all the help in the world I can get. I can't do this alone. You know?
Amen.
And I think if you don't mind me sharing this, at 2 a.m. in the night or on my way here, and even when I want to talk, I feel like for me prayer is almost me talking out loud and hearing myself what I'm saying, and it's like almost like an affirmation.
So you're having a conversation with God?
Yeah, all the time, man.
Yeah, man.
All the time, bro.
Love that.
I cry on a daily basis through happiness usually, sometimes through sadness. I've got a beautiful 8-year-old daughter. Her mum's been through her fair share of addiction too, bro. Sometimes the powerlessness stuff that comes around, that's like incredibly painful, you know? Matt, I developed if I can just share this with you while I've got the audience too. I developed a tool when I was about 6 years clean. I was sitting in my office at work. I worked at the rehab that I went through, right? I was sitting there, I'm working with all these high-risk offenders, people who are coming into recovery. And I thought, I wonder what I was like when I entered those doors. What was I thinking? How was I feeling? Because I'll talk about what it was like, but I don't really connect with her. Anyway, I came up with this idea to record a video to my future self. Have you ever recorded a video to your future self?
No.
You've kind of done lots of videos, but
but
so
not specifically.
Yeah, so I did a bit of research on some questions that you could answer when talking to your future self. They were around family, around goal setting, and I started the camera rolling. And immediately as I started talking to my future self, I felt really unique, really therapeutic. I thought this would be wonderful for the other guys coming through the program. Fast forward, a couple of years, I started recording every single client that went through the rehab. Privately, it would belong to them. And the idea was that they come up to me and say, Danny, I haven't changed. When's things going to get better? But I would see all this change in them. And I'd be able to say, Matt, go and have a look at your video that you recorded 12 months ago. I developed that into an app now. It's called Encapsulator.
Awesome.
Yeah, where you record videos to your future self. So it's a safe place to express yourself without fear of judgment. And we ask questions on screen. So you turn the app on and you start answering questions. Nobody else, this is for you. But when you talk out loud to your future self, you start to, explore some hopes, dreams, fears, future aspirations. So yeah, that's
a great idea, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool.
That's actually what brings me here with you in some ways, because through sharing that story and my recovery story, I've had the opportunities to meet incredible people like yourself, mate. Matt, you're on a tour. You got 40 shows coming up. I know part of this interview is certainly an opportunity for you to promote that a bit, eh? What do you think? Should you give it a... So what's the story?
Yeah, so this tour's gone till June.
So that's...
Feb till June, so about 4 or 5 months, I think.
June. Yeah, okay. So it's 45 shows in total, must be about that?
Yeah, 45 shows in total. It's been going really well so far. Having a ball, man, like being able to perform without drugs and without alcohol and having no desire to do it.
Yeah.
Like the last tour was the first tour I was going on stage without Valium, and I was dreading it. I was like, I'm going to suffer. Like, this is going to suck. And then I would say my prayer and then do a Wim Hof breath work.
Oh, okay, wow.
Go hard on that before every show. I do about an hour of it.
You doing that now too?
Yep, doing that. Only doing about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've never felt more
I know.
at ease and present on stage, like. And it was a really interesting moment, man, because I was like, this is going to be so tough. And then it's like those moments where you surrender the outcome into God's hands. And in the moment, it's like I was convinced this is going to be a train wreck, and he carried me through it, man. And there's in those moments where you fear, trusting that he's got you and he comes through every time. You know what I mean?
Does that like come to you like... I don't know so you do your breathing exercise, you go out on stage, and then is it like all of a sudden when you're out there, just like the energy kicks in, or have you ever noticed that?
So I think it was interesting. The first show was in Melbourne for the last tour.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks before that show, I jumped up with Bliss and Esso, and I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity to try it. And it was at the same venue. So it was like, let's try the breath work now. And I remember I thought I was going to be nervous then. And after I did the breath work, it was like the nervousness got channeled into excitement. It was like I was pumped, let's go.
Yeah.
And then by the time the show came, any nerves would just fade once you get up there. The adrenaline takes over. But sometimes adrenaline can make you a bit sketchy or a bit shaky.
Bit anxious.
Yeah. But I think when I do the breath work, it makes it feel
regulates
like
you,
pumped.
apparently.
Yeah, regulates me. Yeah, that's a good word.
Regulate the nerves. So over the next 4 months, you'll be traveling all around Australia, is it?
Yeah, all around Australia. Going to WA in a couple of weeks. Doing Queensland, doing Tassie, SA as well. Yeah, it's going to be epic, bro.
Well, I went to the show last night. Guys, it's my second show that I've been to of yours, and it's an incredible experience. I was so super fortunate because how many people were there last night, you reckon?
I think there was 200 or 250 or something.
And Matt gave me a shout out twice, me and Mick Lappin too. Like, can I just say that is like, it was so important that I came to your show before this interview because I could have asked to come tonight. I could have gone tonight, but I've really strategically thought about it. I thought I want to go get a feel for it. And you made my fucking day. Totally. So thank you so much. But like, you don't know how much of an impact that had on me. Yeah.
That means a lot, man.
Yeah, like I'm sure you probably already are aware of that. But when you do that, Matt, that meant the world to me.
Oh,
man.
thank you, man. Thank you for saying that. It was like when I see you and Mickey's bald heads.
Yeah,
like
the two bald
smiles on your faces. I was like, I can't not say something to you guys. 100%. You know what I mean? Like you guys just beaming, standing there. It was like, oh, this is so adorable, man.
And then to top it off, we get a message at the end of the show, like after you gone out, and we'd gone up to the back. You said, come down the back and come and do a meet and greet. And the security said, we're looking for two bald guys with tats. So and their wives. So shout out to Tegan and to Cora. So you send a message to security. We're looking for two bald guys with tats and their wives to come out the back.
Yeah.
That was gold, man.
Yeah, didn't want to separate you from your missus.
Nah, that's beautifully thought, very thoughtful, you know. All right, we'll wrap it up in a sec. You mentioned something about being sober and living life. I just want to share to people out there too. Like, for me, 16 years. I've experienced a lot of pain, hurt, but a lot of incredible, exciting times too. And I can't say how good life can be without the use of drink and drugs. And I know there's a lot of people who follow you who probably stuck out there in addiction. It's can we talk about that a bit? What's it like to live life to the fullest, sober, up on stage? Like, how does that feel?
Oh, it's so good, man. I mean, life in general, even if we took the stage,
of course,
and the platform away, being present, being able to soak everything in, having purpose, you know. Before, I thought my purpose was to be the loosest unit, take the most drugs and be the last man standing at every party.
Yeah.
And that was what was driving me all the time. It was sick and twisted, bro. I think that was a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
It was like I was deriving my meaning from that lifestyle. And that just...
It wasn't real, was it? It's not real.
It's not real. It's so fake, bro.
It's fake.
Like, it is fake, the worst way to live your life possible. And it's interesting when you become a Christian, it's like, I can't become a Christian. I have to give up this. I have to stop doing this. Like, I can't become one of those straighty 180 kind of dudes.
It's not true. Like,
can't have sex before marriage. Got to stop swearing. All these things. And then when I studied the Gospels and gave my life to God, He made me realize that all of those things that I thought were what was keeping me free was actually keeping me in bondage. Like, I was a slave to those things. And then when I encountered God's grace, it was like, I willingly give this stuff up. It's not serving me. You know what I mean? These things are holding me back. And it is difficult. But letting those things go has been the greatest thing, man. Greatest gift. Yeah.
It truly is something that I never expected, to be able to live and enjoy life so much without the use of a substance, you know? For a long time, I thought I needed to fill that hole. Today, I fill that hole through spirituality, through life.
Man.
You know?
Yeah. And were you, when you were in the thick of it, like, I just wish I could be out of this.
I heard you talk about that. Do you know what, Matt? For me, I remember thinking like, this is just my life. This is the cards I've been dealt. I used to tell people being on the methadone was just like being a diabetic, and I needed my insulin every day. I had no hope. By the way, my mum was very much like your mum too. My mum gave me this. My mum gets a shout out in all my podcasts. My mum taught me all my values and morals, you know. And my dad, he taught me everything I shouldn't know, you know, a little bit different with you. But so I'd succumb to this idea that, you know what, I'm going to die an addict. I had no ambitions, man. And then one day, life's changed, you know. After 49 attempts, I went to rehab 49 times, bro. Every
crazy.
system in the public system, I went.
Crazy. That's so good though, man.
On Christmas Day, bro, 2009, I was 60 days clean. I just left a family Christmas table where I'd hurt, stolen, robbed every single one of my loved ones, right? Full of shame. My son was there as well. And I left there that day saying, I can't do this, man. I can't live life like this. And I went up to King's Cross. I was going to hand over the money to buy heroin and cocaine. And on the other side of the road was the bus to go back to rehab. I was in rehab. And that day, for the very first time in my life, God came into my life. I made a different decision. I changed my mind. I'd never done that before, you know?
Wow.
And mate, since that day, a miracle happened. I've never come close to picking up another substance, you know? Yeah, so
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's so good to hear. I relate to that. It's like, you feel like it's like you're in this nightmare, and now you look at your life now, it's like, oh, it was like a dream. It was like that.
I can't believe it, man.
Couldn't escape it. But now that I'm here, it's like, how has that even happened? But this is much better. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is 100 times better. This is the life I never even knew existed, you know? On that note, if I just may just say, this podcast has been sponsored by a rehab in Melbourne. It's called Rewire Realign.
Beautiful.
Bundura. You know Bundura? You probably do.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mate Mick Condello and Nadia run an incredible program there. They do breath work, they do kinesiology, they do sound healing. Ever tried sound healing?
No.
You do the breath work, you do the Wim Hof.
Yeah.
I guess they do psychotherapy. They do equine therapy. Ever done any of that? They pat horses. They do some
I love that.
That's beautiful therapy.
I can understand how therapeutic that would be, man.
Absolutely. So that's Rewire Realign in Bundura. And I'm also Gross Gyms up in Bundaberg. You ever been up in Bundy?
We're playing up there.
Are ya?
Yeah, we're playing.
I see that on the list actually. If I just share with you, my first night getting drunk, stoned, and on the cream bulbs. You ever get on the Nangs cream bulbs?
Yeah, bro.
That happened for me in Bundaberg. That's where it all started for me.
Oh wow, the Nangs, man.
Actually, on that note, my sponsor Zach from Gross Gym said to me to tell you if you want to go train at his gym, of course.
Where's that?
In Bundy.
Oh, in Bundy.
They're a mental health gym. They're
man.
They labelled themselves as the mental health gym, so they're one of my sponsors.
Oh,
too.
that's great. Yeah, that could be awesome.
Yeah,
man.
good. There you go, Zach.
Yeah.
And finally, I want to thank Mic'd Up Podcast Studio as well. Basically, Dan's over there. Come here to you. We're in the green room at, where are we? Drifters Wharf.
Yeah.
A lot of famous artists have been here.
Yeah,
you know?
man. Yeah.
There's a big wall out there where you need to sign that thing and get you up on the wall next.
Yeah.
Drifters Wharf. But Mic'd Up Podcast Studio have come out here today to I feel very lucky to have these guys come out here. I get to record my episodes in their studio every week. You've got a team that follows you around, I guess, hey?
Not with like equipment and stuff like that.
No?
We sometimes, depending on the show, we'll get someone to come down and film it, but they don't really follow us around. Like some people do that. I think it's super handy in this world that we live in at the moment where content is so important.
Bro. Yeah, it's a lot of fun too. I love it. I'm a content creator. I'm trying to be. I want to be famous one day, Matty, and you're part of my journey now, you know? Finally, there's another sponsor who lost her brother to a heroin overdose. All of her family has been heavily addicted. And she was the first one to sponsor the podcast and help me put this together. So this is in loving memory of all our lost brothers and sisters to addiction. You came close, didn't you, Matty?
Very close, multiple times. Yeah.
I had times when I'd overdosed from heroin where I had broken ribs from the paramedics giving me CPR.
Wow.
Nursing broken ribs around for a couple of months afterwards, you know.
Wow.
So I'm blessed to be here.
I'm glad that you're still here, man.
I'm glad that you're here too, buddy.
You're a very warm, kind person, man.
Thank you. Man.
You really do radiate kindness, and
I love that.
It's really awesome, bro. It's a superpower.
Yeah, bro. It's Thank you so much for saying that. You know, that's why I'm here with you. Somehow I know through sharing my love and kindness, I give. That's why I managed to get you on the show. You know, it's kind of like how I connected with Mick. It's why you said yes. You know, without me even knowing it. If you know what I mean.
Man. Yeah, for sure. You're very genuine. I love that.
Thanks so much, fella.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Matt.